Hey, it's Rachel Cooke, your modern mentor. I'm the founder of Lead Above Noise, a firm specializing in helping teams and organizations create better working experiences that deliver better results. So this kind of kooky meta thing happened to me recently. I facilitated this session for a leadership team. And following that session, one of the participants reached out and asked if I could design and run a session for his team to help them be better facilitators. Now, I've taught facilitation many times, largely to other trainers or HR practitioners. But what threw me here is that this is a tech leader, not typically a consumer of facilitation skills. But his reasoning really stayed with me. He sees his team as a bunch of doers. They are highly skilled and talented doers, but still, they receive requirements from the business and they're expected to build. And he sees an opportunity for his team to be doing more, to be facilitating meaningful conversations with the business in order to offer true strategic partnership. And he's spot on. I think his logic applies really to any specialist, be it marketing, finance, development, etc. So let's talk about how you can up your facilitation game in order to work with, not for, your internal partners to deliver outcomes that are bigger, better, and more impactful. Here are just a few of the ideas I'll be including in the program that I deliver. First, understand your unique value. I don't mean this in a, gosh, you're special kind of way. I mean that in every interaction, each party has or should have something unique to contribute. Like, imagine a conversation between a store manager and their retail associates. In one scenario, the manager tells the associates how they'd like the store laid out, which products they'd like featured at the front, how they'd like the transactions at the register to go, and then the associates would nod and take notes and implement, because that's what they see their job as being. Now imagine those associates choose to define their value differently. While the manager's job is to plan and develop strategies and train and develop staff, the associate's job is to represent the customer, to offer insight into how the customer likes to see items grouped together, how they like to engage at the register, which questions are coming up most frequently. With this perspective, the associates might facilitate a conversation that allows them, with the manager, to develop a more customer-oriented plan. The associates can deliver value that the manager can't. When we start by recognizing the value we bring to any conversation, we are already positioned to add more to it. Next, plan tight, hang loose. You may have heard me mention this one before. It's kind of my life philosophy, but it really applies in the context of facilitating conversation. You've defined your value. You know what you'll bring to a conversation or meeting. And now it's time to prepare. I like to go in with a plan. Way too many meetings have no plan, and these are typically the ones that achieve nothing but sucking the life right out of our souls. So go in with a sense of what and how, what you want to accomplish, like the question you want to answer, the project you want to fund, and how you'll get there, what questions you'll ask, what data you'll present, what recommendations you'll make. Your outcome should be non-negotiable, but how you end up getting there should be super flexible. You plan to present recommendations, but you realize in the moment your participants are missing some key baseline information, so you use that time to educate them, because this moves you closer to your objective. This is Facilitation 101. Your plan gives you structure and confidence, but your job is to listen well, to remember your value and be sure to deliver it in the context of the conversation. Next, establish rules of the game. Consider in advance not just what you want to accomplish, but how best to get there. And then define some rules up front to help drive a great conversation. The right rules will depend on context and audience, but some that I like to use when I'm running a larger group meeting include, let's treat this discussion like Vegas. What happens in the room stays in the room. Confidentiality. What's decided in the room prevails. There is no meeting after the meeting to upend a decision made by the group. And we all commit to being concise, but also not interpreting the speaker. This ensures that everybody has an opportunity to speak, but nobody commands too much time. Think about what could potentially derail your group, and then put some safeguards in place to keep you on track. Next, ask unlocking questions. Moving from service delivery to strategic partner means asking questions that stretch beyond the boundaries of timelines and deliverables. Ask bigger questions that challenge the other or others to explore new ideas, new possibilities. Questions like, what impact do you want this project to have on the customer? Or, I know we've always delivered it this way, but is there something new we can experiment with this time? Or, how will we determine the success of impact, not just delivery? Next, probe like a scientist. As the conversation progresses, your job isn't just to capture ideas, but to fully understand them. If your colleagues suggest an action, before you note it, make sure you explore it fully. Like maybe someone says, yeah, we'll have marketing take a look at that, which is a fine start, but I'd push for further clarity. Probe to understand, what exactly are we asking of marketing? Who's doing the asking and on what timeline? Your job as facilitator is to land as much clarity as possible. And finally, maintain a parking lot. Remember, your job is to achieve an objective. And part of the art of facilitation is keeping people on track while not shutting down ideas that are slightly off course. This is where a parking lot comes in handy. Have a place, like a big sticky poster on the wall or an open Zoom chat, where you capture thoughts, ideas, or challenges that come up, but that won't be addressed in this conversation. It's a great way to ensure that people feel heard while not letting the conversation move off course. Plus, your parking lot may leave you with fodder for a later conversation with the same person or group. All of this takes practice. You may not master it overnight, but each idea is worth some consideration. By focusing on amplifying your facilitation skills, you'll end up with better, more collaborative ideas that deliver more value to the organization. And you won't even break a sweat getting there. Join me next week for another great episode. Until then, visit my website at leadabovenoise.com if your organization is looking to dial up its employee experience or deliver some leadership development that activates change. You can follow Modern Mentor on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Find and follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks so much for listening and have a successful week. Modern Mentor is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Dan Firabend with script editing by Adam Cecil. Our podcast and advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchings. And our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin.